You're listening to The Moose and the Loose, your 10 minutes action-packed financial podcast with your host, Mikey Hu. Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike from The Moose on the Loose. Friday, June the 28th, episode 350. Kind of crazy, right? Like 350 episodes already, more than 200 great reviews on Spotify. I think we're like at 220. I mean, if you haven't not done it yet, please take 2 seconds. Go look on the your favorite place to listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just give me that 5-star review. If you think that I'm bringing value, it's going to help me a lot to grow this podcast. But so far, what a fun journey. Next week, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Iceland. It's going to be fun. But I will pre-record some episodes for you guys because I don't want to let you down. So hopefully I'll have time to record the entire 2 weeks where I'm gone. But in between, let's talk about today's topic. For Business Friday, this time I wanted to share you a little bit more about the behind the scene of what I am doing with my team right now, working on reverse engineering, to get better results. There's one thing, like the business doing well, we're getting close to $1 million in revenue. And then I'm thinking, okay, so trying to get that $1 million in revenue, it's not going to be that difficult. But how about going from 1 million to 5 million, right? That is a huge step. And of course, I'm not going to be able to do that next year. But here's the thing. If you want to achieve larger goal, like a lot bigger goals than what you have right now on your sheet, it could be at work, could be for your investments, it could be for your business. It's pretty much the same thing. The thing is, if you want to slightly improve, you're going to just tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit more of what I'm doing right now. If you want to lose weight, you're just going to say, oh, I'm going to exercise a little bit more. I'm going to eat a little bit better. And there you go. I'm going to lose like that 5 extra pounds. But what if you want to be like super ripped, like cut to the bone, like just like full muscles and stuff? Well, then you need to think outside the box, right? You need to do more extraordinary thing. And here's how I see it for my business is by seeing myself tomorrow morning with a $5 million revenue business. This means that I do have enough cash flow to pay for a large payroll. So finding people, determining roles, that's not a problem anymore. So instead of just saying, oh, one day I'm going to get to 5 million, and it's going to be awesome, and we're going to sip margaritas in Costa Rica, now that's just dreaming. That's just like hoping that one day I'm going to get so many members that DSR is going to roll and it's going to be amazing. But it's not really going to happen if I don't put a plan in place, right? And here's the thing. Trying to do a little bump, I see all the limitation of my current business model. Oh, I'm short on cash flow to hire like that many people. I cannot do this project because I cannot like have the I literally don't have like the CapEx budget, for example, to do another project, to launch new products or whatever. But if I project myself as a $5 million goal, well, then everything is possible because once you're at this level, of course, you do have that money to build those products and to make it happen. So then what I decided to do is to start thinking about how can I reach this with DSR? And of course, I mean, quick calculation, you take $5 million, you divide it by DSR's cost, and then you're just thinking, man, I need a whole village to, like a big village, actually a small city to subscribe to DSR to make it happen. So that's probably not going to happen this way. So how about like other type of products, other types of services, how I can expand the whole thing without losing myself into this, without like by making sure that what I'm doing right now is still super high quality and I still help people invest with more conviction because that's my role. And that was super enlightening because it helped me to say, okay, so what would be my HR structure? Which kind of employees would I have? Like which kind of role I need to find? And then by lining up all the roles and all the key qualities, requirements, specifications. Well, then I kind of realized, okay, so my next hire, like if I have to hire like a team of 10 people, the number one on that list will be this guy or that guy. And then it's make everything clearer to the path where I can put myself here, where I see how I can grow the business to $1 million and then to $5 million in a more easier way. I actually did that strategy. I actually used that strategy when I went on my 1-year RV trip. So at first I was like, okay, we can travel around the world. So what's the plan? It would be like easier, since we have like young children, to have like a home instead of like going backpack, because I would have to carry pretty much the weight of everybody else beside my wife. So that was not like, backpacking was not an option. Biking was not an option, but buying a motor home was an option. And then of course, I mean, between you and me, I had like no mechanic skills, very basic knowledge of very basic Spanish skills. Back then it was like pretty rustic, actually, not even basic. And I had a mortgage and I had like all those limitations. But then I was like, okay, so what's the big picture here? We're going to travel the world. All right, perfect. So we're going to buy RV. So then I will learn how to operate the RV. I will make my mistakes first before leaving. I will try to learn a little bit more about mechanic and see like basic stuff like changing tires and stuff like that. So I did this, and then I'm like, okay, so how about Spanish? How I can solve this? Okay, I'm going to prepare to get into the borders and to talk to customs. So I'm going to know like the usual phrases, the words that I need to know, and so on. So instead of like finding the limitations, I found ways of how I can improve and get ready for that level. And it came kind of like naturally. I was like, oh, how about school for kids? Well, okay, so we meet with like the teachers, and they help us with resources. They link to us to like more stuff that we can print, that we can use, like, and books that we can buy. And that also came naturally. So going back to my business, right now I'm working a lot harder on that $5 million plan than on the $1 million plan, just because if I reach all of those objectives to get to 5 million, maybe I'm not going to make 5 million a year in revenue with my business, but that doesn't really matter. Like maybe I'm going to do 2.5, 3.5, but by thinking outside the box, by opening my mind to new horizons, it's going to be a lot easier to grow the business to that level. So regardless if I reach it or not, I'm going to grow a lot faster and a lot bigger than if I just focus on doing what works right now and doing a little bit more of this. So sending more newsletters, doing more webinars, doing more podcasts, whatever. And yeah, that's going to be good, but I'm going to burn myself. I need to think about other ways. And this is where my mind is right now. It's not completed yet. I don't have like a killer plan. And yeah, so sorry, I'm not going to give you that plan away because it's not written yet. But just to tell you, go for the extreme, like the extreme goal, and then walk your back way through it. So just by looking at that 5 million objective, dividing by the numbers, the members I must have to reach that, I realized that DSR will not likely grow to a $5 million business unless I change the business, unless I add like products or services to it. But DSR itself, not really a business to reach $5 million in recurring revenue. So it's important to get that and to see how you can manage things going forward. So it was a great reality check and a great way to stop dreaming and start acting, which is all about taking action, right? Sorry, guys, that's enough for today. On July 1st, Canada Day, I'm going to share 5 of my favorite companies, but I'm not going to cheat. So I'm not going to talk about companies that were based in Quebec. So I did that for the Saint Jean-Baptiste on Monday. So next Monday, it's going to be 5 of my favorite companies that are Canadian, but not based in Quebec. All right, Moose, take good care for today. And we're going to talk again next week. Until then, don't forget to stay invested. Hey, welcome to the disclaimer. If you're listening to The Moose and the Loose, you cannot really expect me to give you buy or sell recommendation or financial advice, right? You're here for fun, you're here for information and some entertainment. But I am not your financial advisor, I am not your broker, so therefore I'm not liable if you're losing money after listening to the podcast.
If you're looking for some advice, go see a professional. If not, you can enjoy the show and do your due diligence after it.